here's a pretty good weather radar of what's going on right now. Here you go, Ken.
It's a soggy night in Lafayette on the road with the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, who will be taking on the Lafayette Jeff Broncos. I'm Jay Baker, along with Ken Attila. And Ken, we saw a number of shower bands on the way up here, but it appears that this could be at least a clearing evening so far as football is concerned. Temperature-wise, we're in pretty good shape, and, of course, this is a terrific artificial turf field, which I think will be helpful.
Very helpful. When we got here, first thing I wanted to see whether they had grass or not, and we're going to be lucky that they don't.
And as you know, a number of teams have been forced to play on the grass, and tonight is going to be a bit of a dicey scenario if you are playing on grass because you have uncertain footing, plus you have eroding field conditions. But the referees are calling the respective captains out to midfield. We will do the coin toss here, and while there is not a robust crowd here tonight, maybe that will start to fill in as the rain has seemed to diminish and move off to the east. The Broncos will be kicking off to Hamilton Southeastern, so the Royals will get the first touch of the first half here at Broncos Joe Heath Field. This, of course, in heart of Purdue country, Ken, as we came up here. We passed through beautiful Thorntown on the way up, and there wasn't a lot happening in Thorntown. I thought Thorntown on a Friday night might be kind of a hopping destination. Boy, was I disappointed.
No, the Dairy Queen was semi-packed.
Certainly was.
As we well know, since we
and they had 2-for-1 blizzards.
Like a blizzard,
yeah, absolutely. Anytime they've got 2-for-1 blizzards, you got to figure that sportscasters can't be too far behind.
That means 2 for 4.
Absolutely. That means don't be shy. Get in there and grab one. So the Royals will be in receive formation. Broncos will be bringing their special team out. And we are looking forward to an exciting night of football. We know that for sure both these teams well-stocked, Ken, as you were doing some research here earlier. A number of the athletes here tonight are bound for college, or at least certainly seriously considering a couple of universities. And that should make for a great, great, great football game. And, of course, tremendous facilities here for the Broncos, which we are certainly appreciative on a possibly chilly and certainly inclement evening here in central Indiana.
Yeah, it looks like the rain has stopped.
So the Broncos will kick off. Alex Baker, the senior kicker, will put the ball in play. The kick is up, and the kick will come down and bounce into the end zone. So the Royals will begin their first offensive series on the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I took a look. Matt Johnson, the quarterback, apparently he's going to go to Ball State. And Darian Green, their wonderful running back, very quick, runs under 4.440. He's going to Ball State as well.
So obviously some talent here on the field. You can still see where the light rain is falling, but I think this will fade as the evening wears on. Janney brings him up to the line. He's got one back in the backfield and 3 wideouts branched wide to the left for the Royals. The handoff and running around left end on the play is Hunter Hardy. We talked about the fact that Hunter Hardy has been put a lot into action here for the Royals. Hunter Hardy, Ken, you and I had the distinction of seeing him play as a sophomore. He is now a senior running back, and his ramble gave him an 8-yard gain at 2nd and 2. The quick pass, and boy, in and out of the hands of a Lafayette Jeff defender, and that one could have been picked off. In on the play was Calvin Green, the defensive back, and Green almost put an immediate halt to this first Royals series. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 10. The ball is spotted at the 38-yard line.
He anticipated where the ball was going to be thrown.
Janney is under center, single back, the handoff, and Hardy rambles forward for a first down. They'll be brought down about the 34-yard line. They'll move the sticks on that one.
Hardy's going off. Let's see if Crockett's in yet.
We've talked in the past that the Royals have relied on thunder and lightning, with Crockham providing a lot of that firepower. The handoff, left end, a big hole, and having a tough time. In fact, the Broncos players were hauled along for about another 20, make that about another 15 yards down the field. An impressive run on the play. That was Hardy again. So Hardy to the sidelines and back, and Hunter Hardy gives the Royals another first down. 1st and 10, ball inside Bronco territory. Hunter Hardy, once again, left-hand side of the line, sidesteps a defender, and he'll get another first down. The ball is inside the Bronco 30-yard line. So 2 very effective running plays for Hunter Hardy.
This is unusual. I mean, nobody's being knocked to the ground. I mean, everybody's up on their feet, the offensive and defensive linemen. So it's almost like like a scrum.
Like a rugby scrum. Once again, Hunter Hardy, the lone back, Janney underneath center. Janney, the handoff. And this one, only about a 3 or 4 yard gain, as he was hauled down on the play by Calvin Green for the Broncos. We'll bring up a second down and about 6 to go here.
They're getting Aaron Matteo in there at running back now.
The ball is on the 26-yard line.
Now Chris Ford's in there. So they're moving guys around here in the backfield.
Unfortunately, this evening, this is homecoming for the Broncos. I say unfortunately. This is after a fall's worth of great weather. This one's a tough one. Janney on the pitch, trying to find some running room around the left end, gets hauled down. On the run was Cameron Polk. Cameron Polk came around from his wide receiver position, the improvised end around, and will bring up 3rd down for the Royals. Royals 3rd down and a long 3. They've got to get to the 15-yard line, make that the 20-yard line of the Broncos for a first down.
Cameron's going to be going to Louisville, so he's going to be playing.
Very good player in
Division
Louisville,
one.
of course, in the top 20 this year. I formation behind Janney. Janney delayed handoff. Hunter Hardy. Hardy is going to be held short of the first down to about the 21-yard line of the Broncos. 9:40 left to play here. Scoreless first quarter. And that will bring up a 4th down, Ken, and a 4th down, depending here on the spot, of about 1. And is this going to be 4-down territory for the Royals?
Yeah.
On an inclement evening, it'll be 4th down and a long 1.5 yards here. So Janney with a split eye behind him. He's got one wide out branch wide to the right. Janney under center. The handoff. Hardy with running room, stays on his feet.
Depends on the spot. He's really close.
That was actually Aaron Matteo on the carry. And Matteo gets the ball down to extremely close, yes, just inside the 20-yard line, and the refs do indicate first down. So a first down, once again, for the Royals as they go for it on 4th down, and they are successful. So officially now in the Bronco red zone. And we know how dangerous this Royals team is with a very strong offensive front four. They can move a lot of teams around. Pistol formation now. Hunter Hardy in the backfield. The handoff to Hunter Hardy. And Hardy picks up about 5 yards. He'll be hauled down about the 15-yard line. So a very effective run inside, as we've seen that offensive line blast open some holes, especially around the left-hand side.
Jay, I'm surprised we haven't seen Crockham at all. I wonder if he's going to be playing linebacker tonight.
Well, we've, of course, become accustomed to Crockham being a guy who is a go-to running back, but he has been slowed a little bit, had a severe knee injury a year ago. 2nd down and about 6. Janney back to pass, quick pass, has a slant and has a receiver. Hits Austin Hogan, the senior tight end, and they're going to indicate, are they indicating first down? That will move the chain. So Hogan gets the ball inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal for the Royals. So the Royals using that big tight end set effectively. 8:01 left to play here in the first period. Scoreless so far as Janney now will go under center. One back in the backfield, 3 wideouts. Janney, the design keeper, and he is going to get a block and will clear the end zone. So drawing first blood, the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, who drive down a 10-yard touchdown quarterback keeper, Tyler Janney, on the carry, and Janney draws first blood for the Royals, who go ahead by a score of 6-0.
It was a good play flick. Everybody went for the first handoff.
Well, and Hunter Hardy threw a nice block in there following the fake handoff and sprung Janney for the end zone. Point after, kick is up, and it is good. So the Hamilton Southeastern Royals go up by a score to 7-0 here this evening. Lafayette Jeff Broncos tonight. It is their homecoming, and a bit of a rainy start. But, boy, Ken, it looks like officially the rain has stopped. So that will be good news, trying to bring some fans in here to enjoy this game.
Yeah, but it's pretty sparse crowd, especially if it's homecoming. You see as many umbrellas as you do people here.
So Hamilton Southeastern goes 80 yards on their first drive and cap it off with a 10-yard Janney quarterback keeper, and are up by a score of 7-0 with 7:44 left to play here in the first period. I think temperature-wise, it will be a football weather night. It's just been a shame that the inclement weather has affected the fan base here tonight.
They should come out. It's not going to rain. It's football weather. Come on out. Stands are dry.
Brady Hoffman will kick off. A bit of a squib kick, which will come down about the 30-yard line, and the ball is loose. Did the Royals get it? They're indicating that they did, as nobody made a decisive effort to grab the ball right around the 35-yard line. And let's see what the referees indicate, as that ball was at least momentarily loose. And the Royals do recover. So the Royals, with that squib kick, I think, kind of caught them by surprise. And we've always talked about that, Ken. Usually the midfield tend to be the blockers, and all of a sudden the ball gets served up, especially on a wet evening. And just like that, the Royals back in business offensively. They'll be at the Bronco 36-yard line.
You know, Jay, you've played line. Somebody on the Broncos might have had the ball first, but it's who ends up with it inside that pile that
absolutely.
gets the possession.
So Hamilton Southeastern back in business offensively. On the Bronco 36-yard line. Crockham in the backfield, and the slant pass to a wide open receiver. How about that, Ken?
Beautiful.
That play was drawn up and executed with precision. Austin Hogan, the senior tight end, couldn't have been more open in a practice scenario, and Hogan gives him another first down inside the Broncos' red zone at the 15-yard line.
What's that, the second catch for Austin now?
That is his second catch,
That's
and both
wonderful.
of those have been key catches, one to preserve a drive, keep the first down going, and that one to put them in the red zone. Janney, one running back, 3 wideouts. The handoff up the middle, and once again, finding some running room up the middle.
Good
That
yard.
is Aaron Matteo. And Matteo gets the ball
Now, Jay Matteo didn't play
down
last
to the 8-yard line. I don't believe he is. He is listed as a sophomore, 6 foot, 195 pounds, has some physical skills.
Oh, yeah. He might have been nicked up last week, but, boy, he's playing very well.
Hunter Hardy in the backfield with Janney under center, 3 wideouts. As the Royals again driving, it is second down and 3. Quick pass in the corner,
Touchdown.
rolling into the end zone. That is Cameron Polk. We talked about Cameron, obvious physicality. A gentleman, you said, Ken, going to Louisville.
Yeah,
which is a
where
top 10 program. So
he won't
Cameron
get
Polk.
get anything from Terry Bridgewater, but Bridgewater will be playing in the pros. But I'm sure they have somebody that can toss the ball down there.
So Cameron Polk with the TD. And now another extra point. 6:44 left to play here in the first period as the Royals attempt to add another point to the score. And indeed they do, right down the middle. And it is the Hamilton Southeastern Royals striking twice here in the first period at the 6:44 mark. And they lead this game 14-0.
Boy, they have a very good mix. The Royals have tough running inside, and then very good precision passing this week by Janney.
That has been the hallmark of a number of Scott May-led teams.
True.
To soften up the defense, if you will, with a strong running attack, and then always being there with the effective passing attack. And we've talked about the fact that we know that Janney has some skills, but they have had trouble unleashing that offensive passing attack. But, boy, tonight they've had some good luck as they find Polk on a nice slant, 7-yard touchdown reception.
Now look where they're putting it on the hash mark as opposed to the middle. They did that the last time, and they have an unbalanced four below and 6 above the kicker.
Brady Hoffman will kick off, and his last squib/onside kick gave the Royals a turnover, as the Broncos, with some blinding speed on the return to the 40, the 50, they're going to have to chase him down to the 40, the 30, the 20. I think they're going to trap him along the sidelines, but he still eludes. How about a near 98-yard touchdown or 98-yard return? They're going to spot the ball, Ken, all the way down at the 1-yard line.
Well, there's something that takes care of that turnover, doesn't it?
Boy, the Broncos come back strong with an amazing return game. And that returner, by the way, is going to be seeing that in his sleep, to be trapped and then finally hauled down. They're going to spot the ball, Ken, at about between the 1 and 2 yard line. So it'll be 1st and goal for the Broncos. So this is their first offensive series of the evening. They'll start out in the pistol formation at the Royals' 2-yard line. Handoff up the middle, and that is a touchdown for the Broncos.
Wow, that's quick.
Just like that. The handoff and the score, and the Broncos cut the lead in half, 14-6. We'll see if this extra point is a good one.
Yeah,
so
it started
Broncos
out a runaway here, didn't it? But not now.
So Broncos, 1 offensive play, 1 touchdown. You got to love those odds. As the Broncos now will attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and it is good. On the kick was Eric King, sophomore kicker. And Eric helps to put cut this deficit in half. And so now the Broncos trail by a score of 14-7. I think we're going to see a lot of offense here tonight, Ken, unless somehow that would change, because it's impressive. 6:22 left to play here in the first period, and we've already seen 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, on a rainy night, usually you think the ball's going to be slippery. The ball's going to get put to the ground. Not on offense. It was just that one short squib that really gave the Royals their lead when they kicked it about 15 yards. But look at the Royals; they're up really tight. They're looking for an onside.
They are looking for a little triculation here on the kick, as the Broncos may return the favor with the onside kick.
Yeah, a little squib over top of those front 5 and might return the favor.
Alex Baker, with the nicest looking shoes on the Broncos team, will be kicking off here.
Oh yeah, look at those green shoes.
And it's a nice long kick. Will come down about the 5-yard line. Hunter Hardy on the carry. Hunter gets it past the 32, down to about the 36-yard line, where the Broncos go back to work. 2 possessions in the first period, Ken, and 2 touchdowns. So we've seen 3 offensive series. 2 from the Royals, 1 from the Broncos. All have resulted in touchdowns here tonight.
That's efficient.
Yeah, that is. That's pretty much bing, bang, boom. This is a way to test to see if all the scoreboard lights work correctly as Hamilton Southeastern goes back to work offensively on their own 36-yard line. Their very first offensive series began on the 20. And Janney will go to work with a pistol formation, puts a wide out in motion. Janney with the quick pass. It is complete and quickly upended just past the 40-yard line. Good defensive coverage that time. Matt Johnson on the stop. Chris Ford on the reception. And Ford, after a gain of about 4, will set up a 2nd down and 6. The ball will be spotted at the Royals' 40-yard line. Janney with one back. It's Hunter Hardy. 3 wideouts. The handoff. Hardy rambles up the middle, and he is met head-on with a Broncos linebacker.
That was a nice tackle.
That really was a very nice tackle there from Tanner Collins, who's a sophomore, but Tanner held his ground and limited Hunter Hardy's carry. It'll set up a 3rd and 2. The ball resting just inside the Royals' 44-yard line. 5:06 and the clock ticks. Janney will come up. At first I thought open or empty backfield, but he'll have 2 backs in the backfield. Janney rolls to his left, looks, fires, and just couldn't get the ball off to Cameron Polk. Polk on the button hook route, left-hand side of the field, and the ball goes to the turf. We'll set up a 4th down and a punting situation for the Royals. Into punt will be Janney.
Really? He's punting. Well, let's see.
Well, you always think if you can get the punter,
Scott May's a gambler.
if you can get the quarterback to punt, that gives you some options. And the kick is off. It will come down about the 30 and take a very nice Royals roll, and will roll out of bounds at about the 18-yard line, where the Broncos will start their 2nd offensive series. So a 3 and out. And almost with the way this game has gone, you would say uncharacteristic of the Royals, who scored on their first 2 possessions. But now we settle into the chess match that is high school football on a Friday night, as the Lafayette Jeff Broncos now will be taking over at their own 18-yard line. Now they're spotting at about the 19-yard line. 1st and 10. Matt Johnson, the quarterback. Back to pass. He's going to tuck the ball, gets chased out of the pocket. Now he's running for his life as he's chased by a couple of Royals. Almost got the ball off Johnny Manziel style, but unable to bring the ball in was Austin Collins. So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10.
He's quick. The scout report says he's runs a 40 and a 4.35.
Is that Matt Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a gifted quarterback. They're going to go to work in the pistol formation with Johnson. Johnson, this time hand up the middle, and the Royals, nothing going there, as a number of Royals players in on the stop, including Jordan May, 6'3", 245 pounds, a senior defensive lineman. We talk about the size of high school athletes in general, Ken, but you know, these offensive and defensive lines oftentimes have collegiate-sized players. The Royals line up in a 3-4. The handoff, and he's going to be chased down from behind. In fact, excellent pursuit on the play from Chet Maxey. Chet is 5'10", 265 pounds, but showed some speed to haul down that Bronco runner from behind, and it'll be a long 4th down here, Ken, as the ball is spotted all the way back to the Bronco 15-yard line.
We're finally getting some 3 and outs after all that scoring the first 6 minutes of the game.
And how about Chet Maxey hauling a running back down from behind? So that just shows you the tenacity of that front three of the Royals.
5'10" and, 265?
The punt from the 1 foot line will come down about the 50-yard line. It'll be scooped up and returned for about a 3-yard return. That was Chris Ford. The most important thing is, of course, to control the football. So after a flurry of scoring now, back-to-back punts from both teams, and the Hamilton Southeastern Royals will return to offense just inside Bronco territory. They're going to spot the ball at the Bronco 48-yard line.
That's a wonderful field position inside the opponent's 50. So,
well, we talked about the fact that the Royals are particularly good at doing the sustained drive. 3:19 left to go here in the first period. They are 1st and 10.
Empty backfield. Look at that.
No, Janney there will be one back in the backfield. That's
okay.
Hunter Hardy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But,
I didn't see Janney up there.
Yeah, but 3 wideouts branched in the triangle to the left. Hunter Hardy with the handoff, had to hesitate.
Nice.
That'll limit his gain to about 4 or 5 yards, but still Hunter Hardy with some good, tough yardage inside. And that should set them up with about a 2nd and 5.
See, Janney faked me out. I couldn't see him when he was behind the center. Fortunately for the Broncos, they knew where he was.
Oh, yes. Once again, that one back in the backfield is Hunter Hardy. 3 wideouts, branch wide to the left. Janney taking time. Going to set up the quick pass. We've seen this before. The wide receiver screen, it was sniffed out pretty quickly. They got the ball off to Cameron Polk, but the blocking scheme broke down pretty quickly, and despite the gain, they'll end up losing a yard on that. We'll set up a 3rd down and 7 here. They'll spot the ball at the Bronco 45-yard line.
Boy, we see that play in the pros, in college, and now in high school over and over again. That wide screen.
Yeah, and it only works some of the time. But you are right. It's somewhat of a ubiquitous play now in football. A long 3rd down. Janney goes back to pass, rolls to his right, looks, has a receiver in the ball, and the receiver and the defender all arrived at about the same time. Trying to haul that one in was Kyle Schrank. Schrank was unable to get the handle on that ball, and excellent defensive coverage there from Dennis Archibald for the Broncos. And that will set up a 4th down, where once again,
but they had that big run back on the kickoff. Let's see if they can do that with the punt.
This time the punt will roll out of bounds. Well, actually stayed along the sideline there, but it goes all the way down to the 11-yard line. And they did bring in that time before. In the past, it was Tyler Janney on the punt. The punter that time was David Herman. And Herman plants the ball very nicely. They'll be 1st and 10 on their own, just past the 10-yard line. So spot it maybe about the 11?
Yeah, I think it's the 11. See, they've got to get to the 21 and a half.
So Hamilton Southeastern unable to capitalize on good field position, forced to punt. And now the Jeff Broncos go to work at their own 11-yard line. The handoff up the middle, hits a wall, and then bounces it out to the right-hand side, running room outside, and finally forced out of bounds, but not before a 1st down. That was Colin Miller, the sophomore linebacker, that forced him out of bounds, but not before the Broncos pick up a 1st down. They'll spot the ball at about the 27-yard line.
It looks like that running back, Darian Green, is going to go down to Ball State along with Matt Johnson and play on Saturdays. So they're getting their 2 best offensive players from here at Jeff to go to Ball State.
Matt Johnson, 2 backs in the backfield. Handoff once again, Green. Very close to a 1st down again. Another punishing run. In on the stop was Colin Miller. But boy, Colin caught a face mask full of Green and gives the Broncos another 1st down. Ball at the Bronco 39-yard line. They started at their own 11. 1:34 left here in the first period. Matt Johnson, pistol formation, 3 wideouts. They hand it up the middle, and this time Green hits a wall of white jerseys in on the stop was Jimmy McCarthy. So 2nd down and 9, Ken. They're going to put the ball at the 40-yard line. 14-7, the Royals lead the Broncos. Broncos go back to that pistol formation. They've got 4 wideouts. The design keeper tucks the ball, and no gain on the play. Excellent defensive coverage there. Jimmy McCarthy in on the tackle. So very short gain, a gain of about a half yard. It'll set up a 3rd down and long 9.
Let's see if they put it up in the air this time. Obvious passing situation.
So Matt Johnson, 2 first downs, now faces 3rd and long at his own 41-yard line. Back to pass. He's got time, and someone drew a beat on him, but he got out of the grasp. And now he drops the ball. The ball is on the turf. It's going to go out of bounds. A break for the Broncos, but excellent defense as flushing Miller out of the pocket, or Johnson out of the pocket, was Jordan May. Jordan May, who that would have been the hit of the century, and I'm going to guess that Matt Johnson must have had the sense that he was about to be decked and sidestepped that, but as it was, fumbled the ball and almost coughed it up.
He's very quick. You said he's Manziel-like, and he really is.
Broncos will be forced to punt from their own 17-yard line. And the snap goes over the head of the punter. This one's going to be a break for the Royals as the Royals drag the punter down inside the 5-yard line. And the Royals get a break on a muffed punt play. And we've talked about special teams and we've talked about turnovers, and that was the intersection of the two. And the Broncos will pay the price as the Royals will be first and goal at the Bronco 5-yard line.
Well said, my friend. I mean, it's 14-7 basically because of that recovered squib kick. And now look where they're starting. Way down there on the, 5-yard line?
Yeah, that's a tough one. And Hamilton Southeastern now, who leads by a score of 14-7. This is a gift as they will be first and 10 at the Bronco 5-yard line. Tight formation, I formation right behind Janney. The handoff to the tailback.
Flag.
Hunter Hardy was upended after a gain of about 1. There is a flag on the play, and it's thrown in the direction of illegal shift. I was getting ready to say that was going to be a hold, but there was an illegal shift prior to the snap of the ball, so that'll be an automatic 5-yard march off, and that will set up a first and goal, only this time back at the 10-yard line.
They're making some big substitutions here. Looks like they're bringing in Chris Ford, wide receiver. I wonder if Scott May is going to look to put it up in the air now instead. Taking their time in the huddle.
Clock is stopped at 2.6 seconds. This will be the final play of the first half. Royals lead by a score of 14-7. So they marked off the illegal shift, and referees, I think, are talking about which Dairy Queen they're going to go to after this game, Ken.
Probably the one we could see from way up top here, I think, down on Teal Road.
First and 10. Once again, they go back to the I formation. 2 wideouts, and you wonder if they will go to the air as they have some fleet feet in there for the Royals. Janney puts a man in motion. The handoff up the middle, but nowhere to go. A sea of black jerseys as Hunter Hardy ran into the arms of more than 2 Broncos defenders there. And they're going to chalk him up for no gain.
One of those defenders, if that's 78, and I think it is, they've got a kid listed, Ulmer, at 6'3", 45. That's a big nose tackle.
Yeah, they've got some big muscle. Both teams admirably sized inside both the O and D lines for both respective teams. And, you know, Ken, after a flurry of early punches landed by both teams. In fact, the Royals, with their first two offensive series, capitalized, put up 14 points on the board. But the Broncos answer with an incredible return, take the ball all the way down to the 2-yard line of the Royals. They respond with a score of their own. And here now, after a series of punts, we find ourselves 14-7. But speaking of punts, a snap that went over the Broncos punter's head. Finally, when the punter retrieved the ball, because that's what they tell you to do, he looked up just in time to be tackled.
They say the kicking game is important as playing defense or playing offense. And it's showing tonight. These muffs and fluffs have turned into potentially 14 points here if the Royals can finish.
2nd and 9, goal to go here for the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. Janney will be in the pistol now with one back in the backfield, 3 wideouts. We talked about the fact that Scott May will be tempted to pass here to try and get this ball in the end zone. Janney, shotgun. It's a quarterback keeper, design keeper. And, boy, Janney made that one seem so simple as he scampers for a 9-yard touchdown, his second on a keeper here tonight. Yeah. And Janney puts a 3rd touchdown on the board for the Royals.
He's dangerous from 10 yards in, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And I got to tell you,
scampers.
Excellent misdirection there. And Janney with another touchdown on a keeper play.
Well, you got to watch Hardy. I mean, if Hardy gets the ball from him, he's a load to bring down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Hamilton Southeastern with their first score here early in the second period. And it is now with 11:55 left to play here. A score of 21-7, the Royals up over the Broncos. It's homecoming here for the Broncos. The rain has stopped, so the rain gear comes off the sideline, and even the cheerleaders are out and about. I got to tell you, I saw the cheerleaders downstairs before the start of the game. They didn't seem particularly happy. We've had some great fall weather, but, boy, tonight we had some chilly, inclement weather, but I think that the rain has stopped. Certainly the radar looks like it seems like the skies will be clear enough to finish this game up, and it certainly hasn't affected either team, Ken, seemingly.
Well, seemingly I've just lost. Oh, there we go. There's the football.
There we go. Now, you, of course, worked as a cinematographer for a man by the name of Steven Spielberg, I believe. We've heard about him.
Yeah, I made E.T. go home.
It was your film technique that actually forced an extraterrestrial to go home.
He just knew that I was the 69th generation of the grandsons of Attila the Huns.
He knew.
When he found that out, he decided to get out
of
town quick.
You and I have always said if you have a distant relative who was, let's face it, a conqueror, people are going to take you seriously.
Well, he wouldn't loan me his pony. So.
Brady Hoffman will kick off, and it's going to be a long shot that looks like if it goes out of bounds, the penalty flags will fly, and they will get the ball on the 30 or 35. I always forget the difference between high school and college rules, but at any rate, that ball going out of bounds is considered a no-no, Ken, and as you know, our society has some very strict laws, and we like to keep to those laws.
You don't like breaking the rules anymore.
And it does look like they will spot the ball at the 35-yard line.
Fortunately, the Zebras haven't been throwing too many flags. I sort of
No, they've let them play here tonight.
I don't like when they throw flags. Are they going to kick off again? Yeah, they're going to make it.
Are they going to force them to kick again?
It looks like it. It looks like they're going back. Yeah.
I thought it was almost an automatic get the ball over, but if they're going to make him kick again, then
well, maybe the rules.
Well, certainly with the return game. Yes, the return game that the Broncos have, and maybe this is the thing that they have is the option to make the Royals kick over.
I would definitely want them to kick over.
Certainly with the return game that the Broncos are capable of unleashing, as they had a 95-yard return in the first quarter.
And they need another one right now.
That would be nice, as Brady Hoffman now will kick off again, this time back at his own 35-yard line. So Hoffman tried to pin him on the sideline, had the ball go out of bounds, And here's the kick over.
Yeah, see, he's not kicking from the middle. He's kicking from very near the hash mark.
So Hoffman, squib kick this time, comes down inside the 20, and someone's going to have to grab it. It's a live ball now inside the 10. The Royals are going to pin the returner down, who then reverses field back to the 30, the 40. Pretty impressive. He's going to go all the way, Ken. He's, he got hauled down from behind.
You jinxed it.
I jinxed it. Wow, because I got to tell you, that is absolute sheer speed from a guy who, that's Darian Green again, 5'10", 180 pounds, and Darian Green is a speedster, as Green, after mishandling that squib kick, takes the ball all the way down to the Royal 35-yard line, and I thought for sure he was gone once he reversed field, Ken.
Well, he was running faster than everybody else, but that was a miraculous tackle by the Royal to catch him.
The Royals did haul him down from behind. On the stop was Cameron Polk. The Broncos now, 1st and 10. Handoff up the middle. Very little running room. That is Irving Madden. And Madden is able to push some white jerseys forward, pick up a gain of about 3 or 4.
Finally, for the Broncos, they've got decent field position. First time in the game, really.
This is their best field position start so far here tonight, as they trail the Royals by a score of 21-7. And yes, I remain very impressed by the talents of Darian Green, as Matt Johnson is in the pistol formation. 3 wideouts, branch wide to the light. Play action. Keeps the ball, rolls, throws to a wide open Bronco receiver, Tim Wilson. We talked about wide open. Couldn't have been more wide open in practice. Was Tim Wilson. A well-placed ball, and Wilson gives them a very nice 32-yard touchdown strike, and the Broncos once again put points on the board.
That was a rope that he threw.
That was a beautiful pass and
excellent
catch.
Pass on the run. Excellent pass.
As Lafayette Jeff now has an extra point try here to move this to within a 1-score game. And the kick is up, and it is good. So just like that.
No.
Now they're saying wide left.
Yeah.
So no good. So
that's critical.
That is critical, and that now makes it a 2-score game, or a score with 2-point conversion, as the Broncos trail the Royals now 21-13.
Oh.
So plenty of offense here tonight, Ken.
The kicking game is failing Lafayette Jeff. You know, three bad kicking plays, and that's the third one right there.
So special teams play could come back to haunt the Broncos if they are hanging very tough here with the Royals.
Boy, they have the speed. In fact, I think they're quicker than Hamilton Southeastern, at least for 2 critical guys. Johnson and Green are just very quick.
Well, Green is lights out quick. As Hamilton Southeastern now goes back into receive mode, Chris Ford is back.
Let's see if maybe the kicking game will help them this time. They need some.
As the Broncos now kick off to the Royals. Kick is up, and it will come down. About the 10-yard line. Will bounce over the head. It was Hunter Hardy, the other back. It will go to the back of the end zone, and the Royals will commence this offensive series from their own 20-yard line.
In the old days, if nobody touched it and went into the end zone, and the kicking team could recover for a touchdown. We ended up having a tie game in high school back in the 60s, exactly that way. But they've changed the rules.
So here's Hamilton Southeastern, who scored Janney on a touchdown, on a keeper, on the last series, as they drove from excellent field position. In fact, they started on their own 5-yard line because of the messed up punt play. And now we see Demetrius Crockham in the backfield as Janney is under center. The handoff to Crockham. Here's Crockham's first carry. Tries to bounce it outside. Crockham will end up picking up about 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, I thought Crockham might have been going to play defense because they have him listed as a linebacker. So I was surprised he hasn't gotten any touches until now.
So Crockham picks up 3, spot the ball in the 23. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Royals. Janino goes back to the pistol. Hunter Hardy in the backfield. 2 wideouts, puts a man in motion. Janney, long snap count, goes back, quick pass, in and out of the hands. Chris Ford, a catchable ball as they tried to set up that wide receiver sort of modified slant slash screenplay, but they just never really got that one untracked as Ford was unable to haul the ball in. And Ford is pretty sure-handed, so that's sort of unexpected there.
Well, the ball might be a little bit wet.
21-13. This brings up a long third down and 7. Janney is in shotgun with Hunter Hardy in the backfield. Back to pass, has time over the middle, and a very nice completion. That was Kyle Schrank, the tight end. And Schrank, who dropped one earlier, makes up for the drop and gives the Royals a very nice first down at their own 42-yard line.
Yeah, there's good balance to running and passing with the Royals tonight. If I was a linebacker, I'd have no clue. I don't know what keys they'd be reading because sometimes they run when you think they're going to pass.
The ball is at the 41-yard line of the Royals. Janney with Crockham in the backfield. Crockham gets the ball. Crockham surges forward, gives him about a 5-yard gain. Ball spotted at about the 46-yard line. So a 5-yard gain for Crockham, and he looked sort of like his old explosive self there on that carry.
I was going to say the very same thing. He exploded through the hole. I mean, when he was handed the ball, he was past the line of scrimmage, it seemed. He's very quick.
You'll have to apologize if Ken and I have slight awe in our voice about Crockham. We've seen him at his best, and he is an impressive runner as a high school athlete. As Janney now on 2nd and 5. Handoff. Up the middle. Some running room. Gets the ball very close to midfield. And that was Hunter Hardy again. So that'll bring up a third down and about a yard and a half. So the ball exactly at the 50-yard line, Ken.
Yeah, Hardy seems to be their mainstay this year. Certainly had most of the carries.
Well, and ironically, Hunter Hardy's wearing jersey 32, which is similar to Ryan Ripp's number. So it seems like that is a pretty blessed number. Yeah, handoff up the middle. Hunter Hardy, boy, he had a big traffic jam, but on second effort, squirts out of that pile and picks up a first down in Bronco territory. They're going to spot the ball very close to the 46-yard line of the Broncos.
Ryan Ripp is at the University of Pennsylvania in the Ivy League. Imagine that.
Yeah, it's almost kind of hard to believe in a way, but the kid is a gutsy guy and an ex-Royal and always Royal proud. Crockham with the ball, bounces it to the outside, tries to find some running room, stays on his feet, and Crockham fights a stack of Bronco defenders. Managed to pick up about 5 or 6 on the play. So Demetrius Crockham now in at running back and running effectively for the Royals. They'll spot the ball down at the 42-yard line. So a gain of 5. It'll be second down and a long 5 here. Call it 6. So 2 backs in the backfield for Janney. He's under center, 1 wide out, branch wide to the right, who now goes into motion. Janney, long snap count, back to pass, has time, tries to hit a streak route, and does. Boy, when you hit a guy in full stride, that is Aaron Matteo, and Matteo out of the backfield. No, make that Kyle Schrank. So Schrank from his tight end position. That literally was the streak route, Ken. That's the old, you just go long and far, and I'll just hit you in stride and Schrank. Great reception.
We called it the go deep.
Yes, it has a couple of different names, but it's an impressive play. And Janney, just like that, gives him first and goal after that connection with Schrank. Ball at the 9-yard line. Hardy with the carry. Some tough yardage inside. Only picked up a yard or two. The blocking did break down on that right-hand side of the line.
Yeah, but 40, what is that number, 40? Boy, he was blocking like a banshee in there. He was 40. Adam Miller?
Yeah, that is Adam Miller. So that sets up now a second and goal. Ball at the 6-yard line. Janney goes to work. Crockham in the eye. Schrank goes in motion. Crockham with the ball. Crockham has some running room, dips his head, stays on his feet, and depending on the spot, they're going to say that he was down about the 3-yard line, but a good run from Crockham will give him a third and goal. Ball spotted just outside the 3-yard line, very closer to the 4-yard line. So third and goal, 4 yards to go for a score here. 6:04, the Royals are up by a score of 21-13. I formation for Janney. Has Schrank now out wide to the left. So Schrank, originally a tight end, they've been using him as a receiver here, or a wide receiver. Crockham with the ball, spins, stays on his feet, and Crockham is able to get the ball on second effort down inside the 2-yard line, where it'll bring up a fourth and goal situation. And are the Royals going to go for it, yes or no? They're platooning in some players, but let's see. It doesn't seem like they brought the kicker in. So fourth and goal, ball spotted at the 2-yard line for the Royals. They're ahead by a score of 21-13. Already scored once in this quarter, and timeout?
Timeout.
Yeah, the Royals are going to talk this over on the sideline. Scott May, their head coach, will want to make sure that they've got the right play in there. The Royals, if they should happen to not convert on this fourth down, certainly would put the Broncos in very deep in their own territory.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win. You either score or you put them on the 1-yard line, 99 yards to go.
Well, Hamilton Southeastern began this drive on their own 20-yard line. They have gone 78 yards, where they now face a fourth and goal from the 2. Homecoming crowd here for the Broncos. Their enthusiasm dampened by the weather, but there are slowly but surely more fans in the stands.
Looks like the band's going to be playing. Look at all those.
The band is ready, and the student section,
drums.
I believe it is. I see a couple of sombreros down there, Ken. It must be Mexican motif in the student section tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll all go out for Mexican food after the game. Do you think? In fact, the students should pay for ours, shouldn't they?
I think only if they win this game.
Yeah, I think so.
They might spring for it.
They might spring, yeah. Only if they win. Well, the Broncos now with a defensive test, as Janney will be under center with 2 backs in the backfield. Hunter Hardy is the tailback. Tight formation. Long snap count. The handoff to Hardy. Hardy on second effort will score. The blocking broke down. Hunter Hardy over right guard. Blocking initially broke down, but Hardy was able to shake free, and Hunter Hardy gets his first rushing touchdown of the evening. An 80-yard touchdown drive from the Royals.
He just ducked his shoulder and really went under a tackle. Somebody tried to arm tackle him, and that wasn't going to work. A
pivotal fourth down, and now in to convert is Brady Hoffman. Hoffman has been successful this evening on all of his kicks, and that streak continues as the Royals go up by a score of 14 now to 13. And as you said, Ken, that missed extra point for the Broncos now looms a little larger. 4:58 left to play here in the first half. This has been an exciting offensive series, and I've been excited to see the Broncos really hang in there and deliver some incredible offensive performances in their own right.
I mean, they're down 2 scores, but that doesn't mean they can't make that up in a hurry. With the kicking game, although that's pretty much hurt them most of the time, they get a guy running it back on a kickoff or a punt.
I think
back in it.
I think we can certainly say that their offense is impressive here tonight, and they have a couple of weapons that you cannot overlook. One of them being Darian Green, their senior running back, and then Matt Johnson. Between the two, if you were going to start a track team, Ken, you might select those two first.
I suspect
they
are
really are impressive. Yeah. I'm going to guess Lafayette Jeff's track team is extraordinary.
At least their sprinters are.
Well, the Royals now will kick it back to the Broncos. We've seen a surprise squib kick, which turned into an onside kick. Let's see what occurs here. And the surprise squib kick, but it is going to come down into the arms of a Bronco. And are they going to say that he called for a fair catch? I don't know. They're stopping the play right at the point of the catch. That was Isaiah Archer.
Well, if it was on the fly, he can make a fair catch.
I'm not sure what the indication is, but it looks like they're going to just put the ball right at the 35-yard line. So the Broncos get the ball at their own 35. And Lafayette Jeff now will be looking for an answer score as they trail in this game 28-13.
I think they made that short kick because they didn't want Darian
Green, the speedster.
Yeah.
Tight formation for the Broncos. Handoff up the middle, and boy, you talk about a platoon of white jerseys in on the stop, actually dropping the runner for no gain at all. In fact, maybe a loss of 1 or 2. In on the swarm, Jimmy McCarthy. Jimmy McCarthy, you got to hand it to him, besides just being a tenacious athlete, 6'5", 270 pounds, and with athleticism, Ken. You know, back in our day, we'd have some big guys, but they were not the athletes, as the Royals use that 3-4.
Not that big, not that fast.
No. Handoff up the middle with some running room. Squirts it to the outside. And once again, we talked about Darian Green, and Green stays on his feet, knocked out of bounds about the 50-yard line, and Green, just like that, puts the Broncos in business at the midfield stripe, another first down carry.
Yeah, Green's 5'10", but when he's running behind guys 6'3", 6'4", the linebackers really don't see him until he pops free.
Well, you know, the only way you can kind of be successful on the Royals is either break past the defensive line or bounce the ball to the outside, and the Broncos are capable of doing it as Johnson goes to work in the pistol formation. Puts a man in motion. The handoff to Green. Green is going to be dropped for about a 1-yard gain. In on the stop was Brian Roberts for the Royals. 2nd down and 9. Ball just inside Royals territory. But the one thing that we'll have to keep one eye on, Ken, is the clock with 3:52 and ticking. The Royals have time on their side.
Yeah, but they can pick up chunks.
Oh, they sure can.
Real quick.
Johnson goes to work now. Pistol formation, puts a man in motion. Green with the carry, and Green runs into a lot of white jerseys. In on the stop was Demetrius Crockham.
Is he in there now?
Crockham's in there.
Okay, he's playing linebacker.
And we talked about the fact that Crockham is almost as an effective linebacker as he is runner. And Ken, you seem to feel that maybe Crockham's best days may be ahead of him as a linebacker.
I think that's what they're playing him for. At linebacker, he certainly has the size and speed.
And the athleticism. 2:58 left to play here in the first half. 3rd down and long. And back to throw. Gets chased out of the pocket. Gets the ball off, but right into the arms of a Royals defender. The ball is intercepted. Knocked out of bounds is
number 9.
Cameron Polk. And Cameron Polk, we've talked about the fact that the Royals will use many of their best players both sides of the ball. And Cameron Polk, a potent threat offensively, is also a potent threat defensively. And that ball was served up by Matt Johnson under duress as he was being chased around by some pretty seriously large white jerseys there. And now the Royals, following that interception, will set up shop in Bronco territory.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, there was no one in the vicinity except for Cameron Polk when he threw the ball.
So this drive begins on the Bronco 43-yard line. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to play in this first half. Janney in the pistol formation. 3 wideouts. Janney, play action. Back to pass, eludes a tackler. Still on his feet, gets the ball off. And another great catch. That is Kyle Schrank. Schrank has been a one-man wrecking crew. Schrank, we've seen him, Ken. He was a reserve tight end when we first started carrying the Royals, and they have moved him out to flanker here this evening, and Schrank has been doing a yeoman's amount of work as he gives the Royals another first down. They'll spot the ball at the Bronco 23-yard line.
Yeah, they're going to lose Polk next year. Is Schrank an underclassman?
Schrank is officially a junior.
Oh, well.
He's a red shirt. Though you're not allowed to do that in high school, of course.
He's a white shirt.
He's a white shirt.
Or a blue shirt.
So Janney, one back in the backfield. 2 wideouts and a slot receiver. Handoff up the middle, spins. A very good carry there. That's Aaron Matteo. And Matteo, 6 foot, 195 pounds. He is a sophomore, Ken, and gives him a nice 5-yard gain on second effort. Stayed on his feet. So it'll be second down with the ball spotted at the 17-yard line of the Broncos. 1:48. The clock ticks with Janney. 1 back in the backfield, 3 wideouts this time. Under center. Back to pass, looks on the slant pattern, and once again got broken up. That was some very good defensive play there as they tried to thread the ball into Will Cordray. And in on the breakup was Mitchell Sterner, and Sterner did a very good job. That's what you want to see from a cornerback. And that will bring up a third down for the Royals.
Well, this is makeable. I mean, they've got plenty of time. They've got some timeouts left. They can run it twice to try to pick up the first down if they want.
On the scoreboard, they're showing the Royals with 2 timeouts left. So an offset eye with Crockham in the eye on third down. Janney under center. Play action, rolls to his right. Has room, has time, finds a defend and threw it away. Interception at the 3-yard line. Still running, still on his feet to the 10. He's going to cut and run. And now looking for some running room. And it looks like he's going to get it. And how about this? A tremendous interception run back with Janney finally forcing him out of bounds.
Wow.
But the Bronco defender gets the ball back for the Broncos, puts the ball in Royals territory. And just like that, this game turns around on a dime and a turnover.
He almost ran out the clock.
Yeah, he
covered about 110 yards.
He ran everywhere, but he ran everywhere except for the concession stand on that last run. So 1:08, and the Broncos now.
They have time.
They do have time. So the Broncos would like to get a score here, down 28-13, with just a minute 08 left here in this first half. They're going to spot the ball just inside the Royals' 45-yard line. So the Broncos, pistol formation. We talked about the explosiveness of Matt Johnson. Johnson, hands off. Green with the ball. Green bounces it outside, stays on his feet. Green picked up about a 7 or 8 yard gain. They're going to spot the ball at about the 32-yard line. It'll give them a first down. So make that a 10-yard gain.
Clock stops.
Clock stops as they move the chains. Broncos have 3 timeouts left according to the clock, and I'm not sure if that one's completely accurate. Once again, pistol formation. The handoff. Green up the middle. No go. He'll get stacked up, and I think
Call
timeout is going to be called. Timeout will be called by the Broncos. So the Broncos call timeout. A 2nd down and 8 situation. Ball will be at the Royals' 30-yard line.
With Green's speed, boy, if they can get him one-on-one with the linebacker going down the sideline, clear it out up to the left, and have Green come down all by himself against the linebacker or maybe even a safety.
Now, they call a timeout, but, Ken, we can clearly see the scoreboard clock ticking.
It is ticking.
Just for me, I would say, well,
Let's wake up the scorekeeper here.
You would think that at some point you'd stop, but apparently no. That's a little bit odd to see a countdown.
Where's the
but
coach
we've seen
screaming?
some odd things at different places.
Oh, he's coaching. He's not. Nobody's watching the clock.
No.
Okay, it's going to run out.
Okay. Well,
come on, referee.
they're going to have to adjust the clock here.
Well, maybe.
So 28-13, and somebody forgot to depress the scoreboard clock.
Up.
We're not sure how much time is up. Now
hit
they just
48.
they went back to 48. There we go.
They just wanted you and me to have apoplexy, that's all.
Matt Johnson now, empty backfield, 5 wideouts on 2nd down, ball at the Royal 30-yard line. They trail 28-13, 48 seconds. Back to pass, pump fakes, tucks the ball. He's going to carry it, going to run. He's got 1st down yardage, ball inside the Royals' 20-yard line. Clock will stop as they move the chains. Broncos still with 2 timeouts being shown on the clock, 40.5 seconds. They've already called the play. Matt Johnson up to the line. Johnson under center. He'll spike the ball, and that will stop the clock. Spike the ball, and that will bring up 2nd and 10. The ball is at the Royal 19-yard line. 38.2 seconds on the scoreboard clock. We talked about both of these teams, and explosive, Ken, might be an understatement of what both of these offenses are capable of doing.
We saw Zionsville have a pretty good defensive game, but all the other games we've seen have been pretty high scoring in the first half.
Absolutely.
5-6 touchdowns.
Lots of offense here as the slant pattern was thrown at the feet of the receiver. That was Tim Wilson. The intended receiver is Matt Johnson. Threw the ball a little too low, obviously being a little careful to avoid throwing it into the arms of a defensive back, as we've seen interceptions from both quarterbacks tonight. 35.8 seconds. Broncos trail 28-13. The tough part, Ken, is this brings up a 3rd down for the Broncos.
Yeah.
And they will go to an empty backfield here, Matt Johnson. And now another timeout called. So the Broncos call another timeout.
They're down to 1 then, aren't they?
That should be 1 timeout left for the Broncos.
Okay.
So the Royals.
Look, the clock's running again.
Royals are up by a score of 28-13. We have found that despite the fact that we're treated like kings here on the road in Lafayette, the scoreboard operator is trying to mess with us just a little bit, Ken. He's trying to fool us.
Well, you know what? Let's see what they put it back up on. Because it should be under 40 seconds. They spiked it at 38.
I thought it was 35.8 was my recall.
35.8 or 38.5, one or the other. But it's around 38 seconds, I think. Now it's already wound down to 14 seconds. I don't know. Keep my eyes off the score.
I don't know. I'm just looking forward to the halftime show. But the Broncos here obviously would like to score 35.8.
They must know what they're doing. They just
So 3rd down and 10 due to the ball spike and an incomplete pass. Matt Johnson goes into an empty backfield shotgun. Back to pass. Has time. Now he rolls to his right. He's going to be chased. Finally throws the ball up and threw it up and out of the back of the end zone. So now that brings up a 4th down. Does stop the clock, 29.3. And Ken, good defensive coverage down there. Frankly, all the Bronco receivers were covered pretty carefully by that Royals secondary.
Yep, here comes the kicker.
And the kicker is going to come out, so they're going to rely now on the kicker. A 35-yard attempt.
Big kick.
This is a big kick. 35-yard attempt. This is Baker. We talked about his green shoes. Hopefully they'll bring him some luck here as the kick is up. And they're indicating it is good. 35-yard
Nice
field
kick.
goal. And you got to admit, that is excellent effort. 35-yard field goal is good. And Lafayette Jeff now scores 9 points here in the second period to get that score a little bit closer, as it is now 28-16.
Baker's lucky that Roger Goodell isn't here, because with those green shoes, he would probably
Would he fine him?
he would void that field goal and probably fine him.
Would he say helmet to shoe contact?
Well, green shoe to ball. I mean, that's illegal in the NFL.
Somebody abused the
You can't
ball.
have green shoes in the NFL.
Yeah. Somebody kicked the ball, and that's just unfair to the ball. That's all there is to it.
That was a great kick.
25.7 seconds. And yes, Alex Baker, a senior here for the Lafayette Jeff Broncos, draws them to within 12 points.
Well, it looks like, I wonder if they're going to try an onside kick to try to get the ball back real quick.
Well, Baker tees up the ball, and we've seen both teams take some chances here with the onside kicks.
I like the gambling coaches. That's great. Let's see if he does it.
Baker back to kick. The kick is up. It's a squib kick. It will go straight into the arms of a Royal player who will down the ball at the 35-yard line. So back there, making that seem sort of uneventful, was Austin Hogan. And the Royals, who we have clearly seen through the years, we want to talk a little bit about doing some gambling. Scott May, if he were a riverboat gambler, you'd want to hang out with him, because he is a guy who is not afraid to put the ball up and try and score.
Not in that first half. He never takes a knee. If he takes a knee this time, I'd be shocked.
So with 24.9 seconds, the Royals with the ball on their own 34-yard line. Janney in the pistol formation. 3 wideouts. Janney back to pass. Looks, has a receiver, wide open. And is he going to get out of bounds? No, he's going to. They're going to tackle him inbounds, but a first down. That was Chris Ford.
Stop that clock.
So Ford, and they'll move the chains.
They got to get ready, because
They've got to be ready at the play. As Janney now under center, ready to go. 1 back in the backfield, 3 wideouts. As soon as they start the clock, they'll snap the ball. 16.1 seconds following, and then Janney just spiked the ball.
Good.
So that'll bring up a 2nd and 10. 14.8 seconds. The Royals up by a score of 28-16. And this is a team that, quite frankly, if somebody made you, Ken, a highlight reel of the final minute of play for the Royals in the last 3 years, final minute to play in the first half, that would be some pure entertainment, because you would see some offensive chances being taken by Scott May and company.
And throw it up to Gary Harris.
Janney, back to pass, has time, really wings it downfield, threw it into coverage, could not quite connect. He tried to get the ball into Cameron Polk, and Polk was triple covered, but Polk gave it his all. And I think Polk was at least able to get his hand on it, but after the 3 defenders manhandled Polk, Polk and ball became separated.
Well, they're down to, 8.9.
8.9 seconds.
They have 2 Hail Mary passes to go. Pass take about 5-6 seconds.
The ball located at their own 47-yard line. 3rd and 10, but importantly, as Ken said, they'll maybe take 2 more chances trying to wing it into the end zone, as Janney now, pistol formation, 3 wideouts, branch wide to the right. Janney back to pass. He's got some time. He's going to tuck the ball and run. Is he going to go out of bounds? I think he's going to dart to the sidelines with 1.3 seconds left. Runs out of bounds at the 35-yard line, gives him a first down, but importantly, puts him in a better position to try and shoot for that Hail Mary pass. So that is certainly the type of play that we'd expect. Heads-up play, too, from Janney. Tucks the ball, runs, realizes he has some room, and what's the first thing he did? Was glance over at the clock. That is some heads-up play.
Very heads up. It's good football we get to see every Friday
Good
night.
football, I got to tell you. You know, there was a commercial that IHSAA runs, Ken, that says this is the most entertainment you can get for $5, and I believe it. And how about a 52-yard field goal?
God.
52-yard field goal attempt from Brady Hoffman, and timeout called to try and ice the kicker.
They're going to ice
They're
it.
going to try. Brady, I tell you what, I love this team. I'm telling you, this is some entertainment.
I thought a holy cow, Holy Mary, Mother of God pass was going to be made.
Oh, you'll love this. They're indicating now when that time runs down, that's the time left in the timeout. They did that because the journalists, us, we were making a comment about it. I blame you, Ken.
Okay, I'll take all the blame.
I'll take all the blame. So a
Plus, I'll take that piece
52-yard.
of pizza if you're not going to eat it.
I think at the very least we should be seeing some pizza up here in this press box.
Wow.
Okay, so how about 52-yard field goal attempt?
Who's trying it, Jay? Who's their kicker?
That is Brady Hoffman.
Okay.
Brady is a
Connor Dahlke's
junior,
not there anymore.
5'10", 151-pound
All right.
kicker, and a 52-yarder right hash mark. And let us see here, as the Royals, this will be the final play of the first half. Snap is down, kick is up, and it's not going to have enough distance. Would have been maybe slightly wide to the right. The ball's going to come down in the end zone. That'll be the end of the first half. But a gaming try there from Brady Hoffman. And how about that Royals team? It's never over until they say it is. And they go into this locker room ahead by a score of 28-16. It is homecoming for the Lafayette Jeff Broncos. Well, we're looking forward to a stellar halftime show. It started out very rainy this evening. The rain has stopped. It's a perfect fall evening. Friday Night Lights, and we'll be back for a second half of action with your Hamilton Southeastern Royals on AudioSportsOnline.com.
Those varmints from out of town.
Hi, Joyce. How are you, buddy? Good, thank you. Nice to see you.
For high school tennis, all five one side. Yeah, excited to have Adam as well. Along. Those are a great addition to our school. Yeah, those are well. Brother-in-laws are really neat to have them around from a personal standpoint as well. And so our kids, you know, our kids just kind of, you know, working with the guys here, and we haven't any techniques.
I'm sorry, I didn't register that.
On their own, but they're
I
in the
just
room,
gotta quit trying to take my shower now.
This week
I take it if I wake up.
four of our guys,
And I'm in the way.
I
need to,
we had
just keep it up and let it wake me up.
we're at Boiler League working out.
Maybe I'll do this.
20 to 25 kids in there.
If I take something, I'll probably do it. Everybody said, oh, you better do this. I keep doing this. See, I've been doing this.
Once the season gets underway, this year, how does 2013 2014 Bronco wrestling?
I
like him, Jack. He's leading us back here.
It's nice. I have something.
Question for us would be how our kids I didn't come out. The bigger guys are always come out.
No, I came down and I
Video still looks good.
But I get the lights and I just keep going to 18.
Coming back. We had
And I'd ask Bill, they were part of that in sophomore. He said, oh yeah, they got that.
juniors and sophomores and freshmen together. I think, you know, we're gonna have good numbers and hopefully we can make a run at some. It's always what you do.
Always an exciting time. And wrestling, like just about everything else, really is starting to more for the more serious people into a year-round event.
No question. In fact, the world championships were just conducted, and you know, wrestling got kicked out of the Olympics. But it was a great push, and there's great support for wrestling throughout the world. Back in there, we just had a world champion, George Burroughs, and second, third world champion. We had some individuals. We did.
Not at all.
We're going to have to, hopefully, Gray's going to be able to compete this year. You know, right now he has a little concussion. And Ray gave me some information, sending me a text and telling me what his situation is. Concussion is nothing to mess with. There's a standard procedure that we got to go through. And hopefully he's going to get cleared from the doctor this week so he can get back and get in the room. He hasn't been in there a whole lot, so it might be a new thing for Gray. Gray has a tendency to want to talk a little bit. Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you're on.
Darian.
wrestled, I think, one.
His name is 51?
Now he's about
Aaron
6'8".
6'8". Oh, wow.
We have another sophomore on, is been amazing. Dustin Baldwin is measuring him every day. Been really working hard, dedicating himself. He wrestled 160 last year. He's up to 190.
Oh, yes, I saw that. But you
He's
got
also
back in.
He's grown tremendously over that time. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping I get two nephews on the team and everything. They're junior this year and won about 75 matches together. Matched Little State last year, and we're hoping that he can get over the hump and get there and prove himself on his state project. Spring and summer. We're hoping that he get on the podium.
Absolutely. There's always a little extra special when you've got family
Two of them. Heavyweight. We got one at the lower weights and one at the upper weights.
close friends and kids that you've known as they were growing up. I think you will just
In Michigan, I have probably we're hoping he's going to get 100 pounder if Dusty doesn't make it. But Clay Jones is started in my wrestling club when I came to Jeff. He was 4 years old. He's now a freshman.
That's pretty cool.
I had got 2 kids that were in my club when they were 4 and 5, and now they're being varsity wrestlers.
Yeah, that's
So
10 and 11 years ago. That makes it pretty neat.
they stayed with the club. And they're going to have a nice
Great kid. Great kid. Well, I tell you what, Tommy, the teams are coming back out. We got a minute on the clock here. As always, appreciate the time up in the booth.
And make sure you guys, fans out there, make sure you come and watch the team big tournament tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we're going to get in that championship bracket.
Get back on the winning side of things. The girls have been putting in a lot of work. So that starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Tommy. Have a good one. We're going to take a 60-second Jeff 92 sports timeout. We'll be right back.
I'm just waiting for you to come and interview me. Get it nice and something other than basketball. You gotta get out of your comfort zone. We never did get rid of this.
Party a lot.
Don't get all
Jeff will get the ball.
Getting ready to start the second half. Ken, as you were just saying, Lafayette Jeff will get the ball to start off here the second half. And we saw a lot of offensive fireworks from both teams. Turnovers from both teams as well. The Royals have managed to stay on top of this one by a score of 28-16. But, you know, these are two teams that obviously are not afraid of the offensive side of the ball.
Well, there's a lot of speed on that Lafayette Jeff team, and they're in this ball game. It's unfortunately for them that they had those three different muffs with the kicking game that has led to 14 points for the Royals. Otherwise, they'd be up on top.
Royals look tough to start this game. In fact, two back-to-back scores. They ran the length of the field, 80 yards in their first offensive series, ending in a 10-yard Gianni touchdown keeper. Then they went for the onside squib kick, recovered, and Polk with a very brilliant catch and touchdown pass for the Royals. And the Royals quickly went up by a score of 14-0 before the answer came from the speed of the Lafayette Jeff return team, who on a 95-yard return gives the Broncos the ball, first and goal on the 2-yard line of the Royals. They punch it in, and 14-7 was the score there. So some back-to-back scores. Seesaw battle here as the Royals will start this second half, kicking off to the Broncos. The Broncos trail by a score of 28-16, but the next 24 minutes of football should be pretty exciting here from Lafayette Jeff Broncos Field. Squib kick again, and this time they're going to just grab the ball, land on it, and the Broncos will start on their own 30-yard line.
The Royals want no part of Darian Green running that ball back.
Well,
They'd rather give it to him on the 30 than let him get it on the 5-yard line and try to run it back 95 yards.
So Lafayette Jeff will start here the second half at their own 30-yard line. They are going to be kicking away from Green, pretty much guaranteed the rest of this game.
Probably a good game plan.
As Matt Johnson goes into the pistol formation with three wideouts. The handoff, quickly changing direction. I believe that is Green once again. That is a carry of about 14 yards. They're able to haul, that is Green, they're able to haul him to down at about the 44-yard line. Hamilton Southeastern had a couple of different players in there, including David Herman on the stop. A 14-yard carry, first down for the Broncos. They'll spot the ball at their 44-yard line.
Well, he's got fresh legs. He didn't have to run it 95 yards, so Green's the quick machine tonight.
Not only is he quick, Ken, but quickly do you see how he gets outside the play, outside the blockers, and then really turns it on once he's in the defensive secondary.
Well, the Zebras are talking.
Conference here from the Zebras where they're calling in all four members of their crew. And this may be a discussion, Ken. We've talked about this, about the best place to eat in Lafayette following the game. They're calling the coach for the Broncos over. That is Andy Kennedy, and they're conferring with him. So not sure what this one is all about. This is a kind of an extended conference here.
Well, you know about the zebras with the black and white stripes, don't you, Jay?
No.
Well, the black in Africa, when the sun's heating up on the black, they sweat.
Right.
But on the white, the sun reflects.
Ah.
So when the sweat and the reflection begins a little bit of air conditioning, a little bit of vortex of the hydration off of the black skin, and the white skin is making up a little bit of air conditioning on the zebra. That's why the zebras are the coolest cats in the jungle.
They really are, and you rarely see a zebra here in the United States. Have you noticed that? The zebras are usually at the zoo.
No, they're here Friday nights.
Or they're here Friday nights, yeah. Well,
they're looking at that clock again. Look at the scorecard. Look at the scoreboard. A minute 11.
This may be a clock adjustment. 11:15.
Actually, it's 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So once again, that explosive offense goes back to work. Matt Johnson, pistol formation. The handoff, this time the quarterback keeper, and Johnson showing some speed of his own as the belly play, the fake handoff, the keeper runs around right end and gets the ball in Royals territory. A good scamper there from Matt Johnson, another first down for the Broncos.
Well, I tell you, Johnson and Green are very fast, both of them.
And they're going to put the ball at the Royals' 38-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Broncos. Pistol formation, the handoff, this time Green, not much there. He ran into the arms, got stacked up there, ran into the arms of Jordan May. And then that play got quickly put to an end there by Jimmy McCarthy, who's been a terror at linebacker here for the Royals tonight.
Yeah, they were hoping for a quick opener, just give him about a 1.5 foot and to squeeze in between him and then take off for the races. He can break it anytime he has the ball.
Broncos' first offensive series began at their own 30-yard line. They've now driven down to the Royals' 37. Misdirection play, and he's going to get stacked up. Matt Johnson went to hand the ball off to the Ghost as Hunter Hardy in on defense there, along with, I take that back. That was not Hunter Hardy. That was Brian Roberts, jersey number 36, who put a stop to that one and corralled Matt Johnson. No gain because, as you have pointed out, Ken, with that speed, even on a broken play, Matt Johnson can turn that into opportunity. And that will bring up a 3rd down and 10 now as the Broncos, first possession of the second half. This is a big 3rd down conversion. 2 backs in the backfield for the Broncos. The handoff to Green. Green up the middle. He's going to get the first down. Green got the ball all the way down to the Royals' 26-yard line.
That was the quick opener.
Gain of about 12, and that quick opener, as you said, Ken, converts a 3rd and long into a 1st and 10 as Darian Green. We've been amazed at his speed in the past. 5'10", 180 pounds. And it is like watching a track team, watching Darian Green run this football. 1st and 10 for the Broncos. Handoff. Green once again. Surges forward. Goes down in the arms of Jimmy McCarthy. Short gain. Picks up about 3 yards. They'll spot the ball at the 23-yard line.
This is the best sustained drive that they've had the whole ball game.
Well, this is certainly what the Broncos needed to come out here in the second half and put points on the board. They trail in this one 28-16 with 8:45 left to play. Same formation, Johnson with 2 backs in the backfield.
Throw it.
Play action, rolls to his left, now rolls to his right to avoid the pressure, and he's going to go out of bounds. Got forced out of bounds, ran out of real estate, and he's going to be going out of bounds for a loss. In on the stop was Brian Roberts. Roberts was the one that put him out of bounds after being chased down. Really not much room there for Matt Johnson. Nothing materializing on that play, and we'll bring up another 3rd down and long as he was forced out of bounds back at the Royals' 30-yard line. So 3rd down now and about 13.
Royals linebackers are very active. Not as fast, obviously, as Johnson, but they watch their lanes.
Johnson with the pitch. Gets it to Green. Green tries to find some running room. Green will be forced out of bounds at the 20-yard line, so they'll be well short. They'll be about 8 yards shy of a first down. And Green, of course, with that speed. But with that speed, you need room to convert, and he was forced out of bounds. So, as you said, the Royals' convergence helped them there. They're going to spot the ball just inside the 20. So it'll be 4th down. I take that back, Ken. It'll be 4th down at about 4 here. They're going to go ahead and go for it. Matt Johnson in the pistol formation. 2 wide receivers and a slot. The handoff up the middle, and he's going to get stacked up. That was Green, and it's going to go back the other way. So a number of defenders in there, including one of our favorites. That was Demetrius Crockham.
Yes, it was.
Along with
Pretty sure the ball's going to go to Darian Green. When you dive him right up the middle, it doesn't give him as much space to work in.
that was Brian Roberts also in on the stop there, and that will result in a turnover of downs. And now the Royals will take over 1st and 10. They'll be at their own 21-yard line. Janney, one back in the backfield, slot receiver, 2 wideouts. Handoff, Hunter Hardy. Hardy tries to find some running room around the left-hand side, will get some. The seal block there, courtesy of Chris Ford. And Hunter Hardy will be able to pick up about 7 or 8 yards there. They're going to spot the ball at about the 28-yard line. Make that a 7-yard game, and it'll be 2nd down and 3.
These wide receivers for the Royals don't only catch the ball, they also block, which I love to see.
Janney, single back, puts a man in motion. The handoff once again. Hardy, ball secure, surges forward, gets the ball out across the 36-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Royals.
Oh, Chase Wilson is having a field day out there at either guard or tackle. I think he's playing guard. He's a big kid, and he's opening holes for Hardy. Chase Wilson. Hunter
did not get that great of a spot there. They're going to spot it at the 34, still 1st and 10.
You're kidding. That's a bad spot.
1st and 10, 34 for the Royals. Janney, under center, handoff, Hardy. Hardy hits the line hard, but, man, he goes down hard, too. Ran into a sea of black jerseys, and the Broncos hold him for a 1-yard gain.
Broncos have a very big defensive line as well. And if that one fellow who weighs 345, if he's in there, he takes the space of 3 people, not just 2. 78, Alm, I think his name is. Almer, Cameron Almer.
Single back, under center, back to pass. On the out pattern, hits and out of bounds. That is Chris Ford. So Chris Ford with a key reception will give the Royals now 3rd down and about 3. Ball will be at their own 41-yard line. 7:19 left to play here in the 3rd period. And the Royals are up by a score of 28-16. Pistol formation. Receivers in tight. Back to pass. Quick slant. In and out of the hands of Cameron Polk. So Polk, who is normally very sure-handed, and Ken, you were talking about the fact that Cameron Polk is one of the most highly regarded wide receivers actually currently in high school football.
Ranked 67th in the country. Top 100 wide receiver.
Polk, unfortunately, unable to get that one in, and that will set up a punt.
He was starting to run with the ball before he caught it.
David Herman back to punt at his own 30-yard line. A high punt will come down in the 20, takes a Royals bounce. Looks like it is going to go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. So Herman, good special teams play by the Royals. They were down to cover that one. But importantly, they will make the Broncos play from deep within their own territory.
The Royals are a very well-coached team. They're not going to beat them. You have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves.
Yeah, they tend to put up some scenarios where you are going to have to possess the ball and execute to beat the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. So, Lafayette Jeff Broncos, second offensive series. Their first one, as you said, Ken, one of the most prolific of the evening, but unfortunately were not able to convert on 4th down. The handoff to Green, this time pretty much curtailed by the Hamilton Southeastern jerseys.
I'm going to say something here, Jay. I'm shocked they're not throwing the ball to Green. Get him one-on-one with a linebacker. Nobody's as fast as Green is out there in the defense unless it's Crockham, and he's not in there playing back. He's playing linebacker.
Well, that is certainly, as you said, the speed is impressive.
Yeah, they keep running between the tackles.
So Matt Johnson now back to pass. Has time. Now he gets flushed out of the pocket. He's going to be chased. Will he be tackled? Yes, he will. Sack on the play.
Number 5.
Very excellent sack on the play. That was Demetrius Crockham.
Yep.
And we talked about the fact that speed kills, and Demetrius Crockham showed you why. If you even are fleet of feet like Matt Johnson is, Johnson could not escape the grasp of number 5. The Royals get the sack, and now it'll be 3rd and long, 19 yards to go. And you talk about being backed up. That's certainly the case here for the Broncos.
They're putting 3 wide, though.
Matt Johnson, single back, 3 wide, delayed handoff. They get it to Green, and Green trips, goes to the ground, and that will be it. And unlike the pro game, you can't get up and start running. Once your knee touches the ground, Green slipped on the turf, and Green goes down, no gain, and it'll be 4th and extremely long, and the punt team will come out for the Broncos. So the Broncos will have to punt from their own end zone, and they're going to have to be careful. They've had an errant snap previously, which set the Royals up for a touchdown earlier in the game.
Yeah, the kicking game has been an adventure for the Broncos.
So the Broncos kicking from their own end zone. They successfully get the kick off. They pick the ball up around the 38-yard line, get it inside the 30. It'll be inside the 25-yard line. A good return on the play from Chris Ford, and that gives the Royals extremely nice field position. He fielded that well inside Bronco territory, Ken, and they're going to spot the ball at the 24.
Boy, in a field position game. And in this game in particular, the Royals have had field position most of the game. And look at this. They're starting at what, the 24?
24. And we've always talked about how methodical Scott May can get. And Scott May, I'm sure, has had the chat with them on the sideline as Janney goes under center. One back in the backfield. Puts a man in motion. Janney on the quarterback keeper, and boy, he got upended. Got to the defensive end there, and the end put him to the ground. Janney with a very short gain there. In fact, they're going to say, are they going to mark him as losing a yard or no gain? I'd have to say no gain, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 as Janney got a rude awakening there trying to get around left end. Hunter Hardy in the backfield, 3 wideouts. Janney, long snap count. Back to pass, looks, has the slant, hits it. It's complete, 1st down, down around the 10-yard line. Good pass and catch to Chris Ford. So Ford, the junior wide receiver, will set the Royals up 1st and 10.
That was a timing pass. He went back about 3 steps and just let it rip. And Ford, good hands. What did he pick up? About 14 yards.
4:12. Clock ticks. Royals up 28-16. They threaten here, 1st and goal on the Broncos' 10-yard line. Janney puts a man in motion. I formation stacked behind him. The handoff to the fullback who surges forward down to about the 6-yard line. And I'm trying to see who was on the carry. That might have been Hardy lined up in the fullback slot.
Or that Matteo kid. He's really tough, too.
Well, and Ryan Ford is out there. That might have been Ford on the carry. At any rate, it is 2nd and goal with the ball on the 8-yard line.
Well, that's Hardy at tailback.
The handoff. Hunter Hardy. Hardy slashes, stays on his feet, and Hardy is inside the 5, maybe down to about the 2-yard line. Hunter Hardy with another tough, hard run. It'll be 3rd and goal. Ball will be on the 3-yard line.
He just tucked it in. He got behind the offensive tackle, and the tackle was just slowly, methodically trying to work his way over the goal line. That was a nice run-off tackle.
So 3rd and goal for the Royals. 2:37 left to play here in the 3rd period. They've slowed this game down, but they threaten here to score again. Janney under center, offset eye behind him. The handoff to Hunter Hardy. Hardy surges forward, and Hardy's going to find the end zone. Hunter Hardy, 3-yard touchdown run, and Hamilton Southeastern first to strike here in the second half.
That was a great surge by the offensive line. All he had to do was just get on the butt end of the guard and just walk into the end zone. Beautiful blocking by the Royals' offensive line.
So the Royals draw first blood here in the second half. They've had a prolific evening, leading 28-16 at halftime. They'll try to extend their lead here with a successful extra point. Brady Hoffman, who tried a 52-yard field goal last play of the first half, puts the ball up. It is good, and the Royals now lead by a score of 35-16 with 2:23 left to play. So Hamilton Southeastern, very methodical. And Ken, the one element of this is clock is being used up. We've talked about the fact that both of these teams can score with authority, score quickly. But the Royals, when they choose to be methodical, they will not only chew up yardage, but they'll chew up time.
Well, not a lot of incompleted passes, which stop the clock, and not a lot of flags from the Zebras, which always stops the clock.
Yeah, this has been a game where the officials have let them play here tonight. Very few penalties on either team. So the Broncos, they're facing an uphill struggle here as they're going to have to answer with a score of their own. We've talked about the fact that take some simple play like the kickoff. One of the more dangerous returners in the state of Indiana is back to get the ball, and my guess is that just won't be happening.
No. He's consistently pooching it to the 30, so see if he does the same thing again.
Once again, Brady Hoffman, who has been a weapon for the Royals. Special teams play. Squibb kicks it, gets it down to about the 35-yard line, and some great coverage by the Royals, who are down immediately. There was no advancement on that, a 0-yard return.
Yeah, but he's at the 35. That's good field position.
That is excellent field position, and this is where the Broncos hopefully will get some opportunities here in the second half, because if they're not going to kick the green, those squib kicks will set them up with excellent field position.
Actually, 37 it looks like. I mean, that's over one-third of the field.
So Lafayette Jeff with a very nice opening drive, which started on their own 30. Now they're on their own 35. Unable to score, but here they are in the second half. Handoff to Green. Green darts through the secondary. Good open field tackle, but Green very close to first down yardage. In on the stop was David Herman.
Boy, he's dangerous.
Well, Green is dangerous, and especially when he gets in the secondary, gets loose, give him a 9-yard pickup. It'll be a 2nd and 1. Ball is going to be at the 47-yard line of the Broncos. Matt Johnson, 2 backs in the backfield, 3 receivers branched out wide. Handoff to Green. Green's going to get first down yardage, but it was tough yardage inside against a stack of white jerseys. At the bottom of the pile, once again, Jimmy McCarthy. Jimmy McCarthy, the senior, has been given a lot of leadership to this Royals defense here in the second half.
Yeah, Ryan Clements is playing a really nice game along with Roberts at linebacker tonight. And he has to be, because if they don't tackle this kid once he gets past the line of scrimmage, it's 6 points.
Well, remember Ryan's brother, Robbie Clements. Once again, the handoff to Green, and Green looked like he was in trouble. And Green manages to get the ball for about a 6 or 7 yard gain, and a little bit of shaking up on the play. He is one of the Royals players. They pull him to his feet. Looks like he's going to stay out there, but Jordan May, I think, hit his helmet on the side of Green's thigh as he ran by. So Green picks up 7 yards. It'll be 2nd down in the long 3. Ball at the Royals' 45-yard line. Matt Johnson, handoff up the middle. And once again, Green is going to wake up sore tomorrow as he goes right into the arms of a couple of white jerseys there, including Jordan May.
He's so fast, I don't think the pain will catch up to him.
That's probably you can outrun pain. So no gain on that play. Third down and another 3 here. Royals 45-yard line as Matt Johnson goes into pistol formation. The handoff to Green, another first down. Green gets the ball very close to the 40-yard line. They'll spot it at the 41.
Green's not real big. He's 5'10", 180, and Scout lists him as a wide receiver, 2-star wide receiver, though. And he's going to Ball State. That's probably where he'll play at wide receiver because of that tremendous speed. I don't think he's in every down back at Division I at only 180 pounds.
The only thing that may hold Green back is his height. He's only 5'10". The handoff once again to Green. Green stutter steps, picks up 3 or 4 before he is upended. In on the stop was Demetrius Cockham.
Flag against the Royals. No, I don't think 5'10" is going to hold him back as wide receiver. Antonio Brown for the Steelers is 5'10", 180. He went to Central Michigan where McCarthy's going to go. So with that kind of speed, you can get
absolutely
separation.
You can teach someone to catch. You can't teach someone speed.
No, you cannot teach speed.
So it looks like the penalty will go against the Royals here.
They haven't said what it is. I'm assuming it might be a face mask. They're giving big yardage up on this one, though. It's 10. That's 11, 12. Oh, boy, they're going to go 15.
Boy, it's a big one. And as you said, probably a face mask penalty. They haven't indicated yet.
Or a personal foul. Maybe somebody took a roundhouse punch at somebody as they were getting up.
But a long march off here, and they're going to. They still did not indicate. So, but it was a personal foul of some nature. Ball all the way down to the Royals' 25-yard line. Handoff to Green. Green manages to evade a couple of tacklers and picks up about a 5-yard gain. Ball inside the red zone of the Royals.
Now somebody is hurt for the Royals. 70. Is that 70 or 78?
That is 70.
Okay. That's Maxey.
That is Chet Maxey.
Yeah.
And Maxey is having some trouble holding his leg now and crumples back to the turf in pain. And the training staff from the Royals is going to come out and attend to him.
I hate to see that. I don't know if it's I hope it's an ankle and not a knee. What's he grabbing?
He was grabbing just sort of the back of his leg. Now the trainers go to work on his knee, so it would just be...
if they have to carry him off, they better bring about 10 guys out.
Chet Maxey's a big man, 5'10", 265 pounds. He's a senior and an important part of this Royals defensive front three. And Maxey is on the turf. So an injury timeout. And that was the final play of the third period. So after 3 complete, the Royals lead the Broncos by a score of 35-16.
I think it's an ankle. He's going off on his own. He's walking better and better. It must be an ankle. He's starting to run. Tough
well,
kid.
Good. At least Maxey is going to leave the field under his own power. And, yes, Chet Maxey is a tough guy and is getting some back slaps from his teammates. So hopefully he may even be back in this game, but if not, back soon.
Rub some spit on it and get back in about 2 plays.
So the Broncos now. 3rd and 3. The ball inside the Royals' red zone at about the 18-yard line. So 3rd and 3, but they still have the yardstick indicating 2.
That's what the scoreboard says, too. I don't know.
Now, 2nd and 3, as Johnson hands off up the middle, Green gets stacked up, and very little gain on that play. So if this is indeed 3rd down, it'll be 3rd down and a long yard and a half. The ball will be spotted close to the 22-yard line.
They keep giving it to Green. Maybe this time they'll do a play fake and Quarterback keeps it.
Matt Johnson, 2 backs in the backfield, tight formation for them, 3 wideouts though. Johnson, handoff to Green. Green, immediate running room, and then just turns on the jets.
That was the
and
quick
Green all the way down to the 5-yard line, and Green will give the Broncos a 1st and goal. That, my friends, is some speed.
Reminds me of Mercury Morris, the old Dolphin from those undefeated Dolphin teams.
Absolutely, and
Mercury.
a rapid-fire hit as Lafayette Jeff, who began this drive on their own 35-yard line, now 1st and goal at the 5 of the Royals. They trail in this game 35-16. Green handoff and hits a wall of his own blockers and a wall of white jerseys, and on the stop was Bradley Murphy for the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. So a gain of maybe a half yard, Ken, as they barely move that stick a little closer. It'll be 2nd and goal, and the ball is resting very close to the 5-yard line.
Are they going to call timeout?
They are calling timeout.
Yeah.
You want to make sure
Royals,
they've
I
got
think.
the right team in there and the right play called.
They wanted to make substitutions, and the Royals did on defense. And they were wise to call timeout at this point because they've been giving up chunks of yardage to Green.
They have. So the timeout clock is ticking here as the Royals lead 35-16. And time really is not on the side of the Broncos, Ken. As you know, one of the things they need to do here is a quick score and at least have the thought of a onside kick cross their mind, because they're going to need to get some offensive touches here in this final quarter if they hope to close the gap as they trail this very tough Royals team.
Yeah, the Royals are keeping them off balance. They throw when you think they're going to run. They run when you think they're going to throw. And they've held on to the ball. I mean, that's it. They've got ball control. Fortunately for the Broncos, they've had ball control so far in the last quarter, but they're falling pretty far behind. They're behind by, 29 points.
The handoff to Green. Green stays on his feet. Extra effort, and depending on the spot here, he's very close to the 1-yard line. They're going to spot him just shy of the 1-yard line for the Royals. And the Royals now backs to their wall, 10:24, and the clock ticks. It is 3rd and goal.
I have to correct myself. They're behind by 19 points.
Green, handoff. Is it a touchdown? And it is. So Green, tough touchdown over right guard. Broncos dug in, the Royals dug in as much as they could, but Lafayette Jeff scores.
Okay, they're down by 13. Are they going to go for 2 or 1? I might go for 2.
I think
to
they
get
are going
within
to go
11.
for 2 as Matt Johnson lines up pistol formation. He's got 4 wideouts as the Broncos go for 2. Back to pass, looks, gets flushed out of the pocket. Now throws it, back of the end zone, short-hopped it. So the 2-point conversion is a no-go. And Lafayette Jeff will have to settle for 6 points. So the score now 35-22, and we talked about the fact that the Broncos now are going to have to score some points here as they trail by 13, Ken?
Yeah, finally we
No.
both figured it out. Well, 13's not bad. I mean,
No.
you could score 2 touchdowns and win. 36-35. By making the 2-point conversion, though, they could have made it 11. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, kick a field goal, you tie them. But really, you're not going to win many games with field goals in high school. You got to score. You got to get beyond the. You got to score touchdowns. You got to get 6 and then make it 7. And you're right, Jay. I wouldn't be surprised if they try a short kick here.
Certainly the thought process exists that a short kick could be in the offing here as Alex Baker tees the ball up. And Alex Baker, we talked about this, may have the finest football shoes in the state.
They're cool.
They are a great shade of green.
Reminds me of Cy Green. Do you remember Cy Hugo Green?
Cy Hugo Green, a living legend.
A living legend.
And the squib kick will come down about the 35-yard line, and I believe the fair catch was called. So that's what we saw earlier in the game. And I guess the fair catch is good because it does give you some room to catch the ball as Austin Hogan extended his arm, and the Royals will take over 1st and 10 from about the 28-yard line here, depending on the spot. So Hamilton Southeastern in the driver's seat here, and this is where we've seen the Royals take the steam out of the game by just really methodically using the clock. They've got the running backs to do it. As one of those running backs, Hunter Hardy, is the lone back in the backfield with Janney under center. Janney, hands off. Hunter Hardy stays on his feet, bounces it out, gets to the 40. He's at the midfield stripe, stays on his feet. Broncos players are riding him down, and they're going to penalize. They're going to penalize the defender on the tackle there. They're going to say it was probably a horse collar as Hunter Hardy was hauled to the ground at about the 32-yard line of the Broncos. An amazing run. Let's see what the call is. Boy, he really did.
That offensive line is really dominating the line of scrimmage.
And one of the impressive things we've seen with Hunter Hardy is the fact that he's able to carry Broncos players. Can you remember a play early in the first half where Hunter Hardy carried 3 or 4 Broncos players for about another 10 yards? So runs with incredible physical strength. They're going to
always seem to have a great runner, don't they?
They really do. They're going to tack that on, I think, at the end of the run, but let's see what the indication is here.
He's pointing holding.
Are they pointing holding? Because that seems, now they're pointing the other way. Okay, so there was offsetting penalties. Apparently there was a hold on the play that we didn't see, and then that horse collar tackle, and that will just make it a wash.
Offsetting should put the ball way back. I don't get this. It should go back to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, he still made the gain, though. That's what's odd.
I think they're going to wipe out Hardy's gain. I think they're going to just make it replay the down on offsetting penalties.
I guess they're going to replay the down. I guess you are right. I will stand corrected, Counselor, but I'm disappointed. That was an amazing run from Hunter Hardy. I'm going to guess Hunter Hardy, well, I'm going to guess he's much more disappointed than I am.
You know what? He can make it up again.
He will. So an amazing run from scrimmage is nullified by apparent offsetting penalties. Look like a hold on behalf of the Royals and then a horse collar tackle on behalf of the Broncos. And
I never saw the holding flag.
No, I never did either. So that makes it 1st and 10 again. So just erase that one from the memory banks and let's start all over again.
Okay.
3 wideouts. Hunter Hardy, the lone back in the backfield. The handoff, Hardy, this time bounces it out to the right. Gets it out to the 40. He's got running room. The 50 could go all the way. Down the sidelines. He's at the 30, the 10. Oh, gets hauled down from behind. Hunter Hardy.
That was a better game this time than last time.
It absolutely was. 1st and goal for the Royals, and that was on the back of Hunter Hardy, who once again rambled down the field for an amazing gain. And there is a flag down.
There is.
There is a flag down. At the very end of that play, there is a flag down. So let's see what the flag is. Hunter Hardy, who had him all beat, looked like he could go all the way, finally gets hauled down from behind, obviously within sight. Then they're going to call a personal foul against the Broncos.
Did you see what it was?
Did not.
Must have.
They're going to mark it off half the distance to the goal. So they spot the ball officially at the 3-yard line, but it'll go down to the 1.5-yard line here with the mark off.
I'm guessing a face mask. You run 50, 60 yards 2 plays in a row, you're going to get tired.
He is tired.
Yeah.
So Hunter Hardy carrying the freight.
There?
Yeah, he is still in there.
They'll give him the ball.
Hamlin Southeastern. They give the ball to Hardy. Hardy surges forward. Hardy has enough. Hardy scores a touchdown. Hunter Hardy.
Yeah, he worked hard for that one.
Yeah, another great.
No pun intended.
Hunter Hardy. That's his second rushing touchdown of the second half. This time a 1-yard touchdown run to go along with his previous 3-yard TD run in the previous series. So both teams trade touchdowns here, but the Royals are going to be at least a couple up here in the exchange as Brady Hoffman, one of the hardest working kickers in high school football, will put the ball up, and it is good. So another successful extra point for the Royals. And Hamilton Southeastern here with 9:45 left to play in this ball game is up by a score of 42-22. So a 20-point lead enjoyed by the Royals here.
Yeah, that's easy to figure out now.
Yeah. What I always like is easy math, Ken, as you know.
9s from 6s and carry the 3 and put the 2 on top of the 1. I always had problems with
Didn't you always say math was a little overrated?
Overrated? Well, yeah, I can't even balance my checkbook.
Sure.
Especially when it goes below 0.
And overrated, of course, even if you can't spell overrated, you at least know the concept of overrated. I think something along those lines. So here are the Royals. They'll be kicking back to the dangerous return man, but certainly probably kicking away from him. Darian Green awaits back at his own 5-yard line as the Royals tee up the ball. 9:45 left to play. They are ahead here 42-22. This has been an exciting game, and you feel bad that the rain kept some of the homecoming crowd of the Broncos fans away, because this has been an outstanding game, and the Broncos have a lot of talent on this team.
Oh, yeah, they're going to win their share of games. And, they could get hot and dangerous in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Brady Hoffman.
Comes the pooch.
The pooch kick. They'll finally scoop it up about the 25-yard line. Good coverage down the field. In fact, tenacious special teams play. Managed to curtail that to just about a 1-yard gain. And in on the stop, certainly worth mentioning here tonight, was Andrew Bray, the junior. And Andrew was not going to let that returner get one more inch. They'll start at their own 29-yard line.
Now they've got to watch the clock. I mean, they are 3 scores down. They've got to, within 2-3 minutes, get a score here to be in the game, to get back in the game where it's possibly a winnable game.
Their last drive was, of course, a touchdown. Long pass downfield, launches it, wide open receiver.
Wow.
And did he miss that ball? He dropped a wide open pass.
He hit him right
That
in the
was
hands.
Tim Wilson, who earlier in the game snared a touchdown pass, but Wilson was unable to bring that one in. He had beaten the Royals secondary. A long toss down the field would have put him first down about the 35-yard line of the Royals. But Wilson just could not. I wonder if he lost that one in the stadium lights because that ball hung up for a while.
Sometimes when you're so wide open and you're waiting for the ball to get there.
Self-talk?
Yeah.
A little too much self-talk?
Yeah.
Matt Johnson goes back in the pistol formation. Hand off to Green. Green stays on his feet.
Wow. He's tough.
Yeah, crock him on the stop. Green manages to get about 4.5 yards on that carry. They're going to spot the ball just inside the 35-yard line. 9:06, and of course the clock is probably the Broncos' biggest enemy here.
And it's moving.
As Johnson goes back to pass, overlooks,
Another guy's wide open.
gets
Number
flushed
7.
out of the pocket, gets run out of bounds.
Wow.
Providing some great defensive pressure on the play there was Bradley Murphy. But
Tim
you
Wilson
said that there was
was
once again,
again.
Wilson wide open. And the Royals are going to have to watch that because Wilson provided a touchdown catch early in this game. And if Wilson gets open again. So now 4th down, Ken, and I'm going to guess 4-down territory for the Broncos, but they do have a punter back.
Yeah, if they would not make the 4th down play, that would be it. Dandy Don would be calling to turn out the lights.
So the Broncos forced to punt. And nice punt. Will come down, takes a very nice Broncos bounce. The Broncos will be able to down this down inside the 10-yard line. It'll come to rest about the 8-yard line, and that's where the Royals will take over.
Broncos need a 3-and-out, need it quick.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Hamilton Southeastern has been tough, that running game when it's going, and boy, it is going tonight.
I don't see the Royals doing the hurry-up offense now. I think they'll go into the huddle. You'll see Janney looking at the play clock, trying to run it down from 25, probably down to within 5 seconds.
Well, they've used Hardy to great effect. In fact, Hardy has carried the ball here extensively in the second half, including 2 touchdown runs here. And Hardy is the lone back in the backfield with Janney under center. The handoff? No. Play action. And a wide open, but just could not get the ball into Cameron Polk.
There's that gambler again.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just when you think.
He doesn't care about the clock. He's looking at the scoreboard.
Polk had just a little bit of distance on his man and just slightly overthrown by Tyler Janney. We'll bring up a second down.
He was looking to put a dagger into their heart with that throw.
8:35 left to play. The incomplete pass will stop the clock. Royals lead this one 42-22.
Yeah, there's a passing formation again.
Tyler Janney comes up to the line. He has 2 wideouts, branch wide to the left. Play action to make that a handoff. That was Hunter Hardy on the carry. Hunter gets it out past the 25-yard line. And that will bring up a third down now. Third down and a long 4. 8:16 on the clock.
Hardy's 5'11", 205. Boy, that's just really good size for a running back, especially the way he runs. He's
impressive.
Lower to the ground. It's tough to tackle him.
I formation behind Janney under center. The handoff, Hardy. Hardy with very close to the first down. They're going to haul him down about the 20-yard line.
Boy, that is close.
That was actually Matteo on the carry. Aaron Matteo. We talked about Matteo a little bit at halftime. Yeah, and Matteo is a tough customer and a young customer. We talked about the fact that Matteo is very tough. He is a sophomore, 6 foot, 195 pounds.
Okay, so Hardy is what? Where's Hardy? 5'11", 205, and this one's 6 foot, 195. Wow.
And we do have a Bronco player who is being attended to by the Bronco training staff, and this might be somewhat head-oriented, but he is alert and awake, but don't know if...
Helps us stop the clock.
They brought him. He's going to be carried off the field. So maybe it wasn't head-oriented. Maybe it was orthopedic-oriented. Looks like a possible right knee as they lead Irving Madden off the field, the senior defensive back. .749 as Janney brings him up. I formation, 1st and 10. The ball at the Royals' 20-yard line. Janney, hands off. Hunter Hardy with the carry, and Hunter Hardy stacked up, possibly lost a yard there as the Broncos sniffed that one out. Or is that Matteo? I think that was Matteo on the carry. Aaron Matteo.
23. So one's 32, the other one's 23.
Hunter Hardy is 32, 23 is Aaron Matteo. And for dyslexic, older, vision-impaired announcers, it's sometimes tough to ferret out which runner you're seeing, as again.
When they run backwards, it's really hard.
I formation, Janney under center, the handoff. And tripped before he was able to get much steam going was Matteo again, the sophomore, only able to pick up a couple of yards. It'll bring up a third down and a long 8 here for the Royals.
Boy, the Broncos need to stop him here to get the ball back for any chance to win this ball game. They get a first down here, and it would be a miracle for Lafayette Jeff to come back and win this game.
Well, like you said, they really have to manage time here, and getting the ball back would be the first step in that time management.
Yeah, clock's against them.
Janney will be in the pistol formation, then they call a timeout.
Well, they're using their timeouts up.
So Scott May comes out on the field. 42-22 for the Royals.
He didn't call a timeout just so they would hand it to Hardy and try to pick up a 9-yard first down. He's out there coaching these kids. There's going to be some sort of exotic pass play or maybe an end around. Who knows?
Well, Scott
He's
May
tough to
rarely
figure
stands
out.
pat,
Tough
and
to
as you
figure
said, rarely do the Royals go the conservative route. And just when you think they will, they'll turn around and be very aggressive. And certainly that aggressive stance here tonight has given them this 20-point lead.
Well, that's how you win games, and that's how you really create momentum, by being aggressive on offense. And for the last few years we've watched them, doesn't matter who's the quarterback, doesn't matter who's the primary running back, they score a lot of points. They're all, one year with Harris, they were scoring about 6 touchdowns a game.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes 7 touchdowns a game every week.
Well, they go with 3 wideouts, 3rd down and 9. And I believe they just drew one of the Broncos players offside. So they'll have 5 less yards to go here on this 3rd down.
That was
Encroachment
a big
against defense, and that was a big mistake. And the Broncos now, instead of backing them up, will give them a 3rd down and a long 4 here. Spot the ball on the 26-yard line. As Janney goes to work, Matteo in the backfield. He's got 3 wideouts, but they're in tight. Puts a man in motion. Janney back to pass, looks. Tried to get the ball off to Chris Ford. Ford would have had to pick up a couple of yards after the catch, and Ford was well defended. In fact, Ford punished after missing that ball by one of the Broncos defenders.
Yeah, that face mask doesn't guard your jaw. It looked like he took one right on the
Took
kisser.
one to the kisser.
Yeah, right on the
In the chops.
the chops. That's it, not the kisser.
Yeah, the chops, baby. As Tyler Janney now goes back into punt formation. Probably won't see any razzle-dazzle here. Not a particularly good punt, a high punt. And it should go out of bounds very close to the 50-yard line. In fact, maybe just slightly inside Royals territory. So here is, as you said, Ken, this is they're going to have to go to fast strike offensive mode as the Broncos get the ball back, trailing 20 points here with less than 6 minutes to play, 5:55 on the scoreboard.
Well, you know, that quarterback is fast. I could see where they could hand off to somebody who can throw the ball and let the quarterback fly down the middle of the field for a throw to him. He supposedly runs a 4.35. That is quick.
That is quick. Lafayette
Green
Jeff
looks like he's almost quicker than that.
will begin at the 49-yard line. Green is in the backfield. Green gets the ball, hook and ladder.
Oh.
The flea flicker, but the flea flicker is going to fall apart because, unfortunately, there's the hit out of bounds.
Boy, that
Unfortunately, one of the Royals players got a little too exuberant on the out of bounds tackle as they forced make that Matt Johnson out of bounds, and they're going to tack 15 yards at the end of this ramble.
Well, that'd be
as
like
Johnson
throwing a
gave him
deep
a
pass.
first down.
See how quick he is?
He
too?
is very quick, and he on the old hook and ladder flea flicker there. Unfortunately, when they tossed the ball back to him, the ball went to the turf.
Yeah.
Johnson had to retrieve it, but Johnson turned that into a first down run. But as he went out of bounds, he got a little loving attention from one of the defensive backs of the Royals, and they'll tack 15 on.
That was a very bad flick.
Yeah.
But the quarterback did flee.
He did, and it paid
he
off.
fled all the way down to about the 30-yard line. So
They're going to spot the ball on the
quick
Royals
score here.
23, and talk about the quick offensive club that they need. Back to pass. He's going to get flushed out of the pocket.
dropped
The
it.
ball is on the turf, and the Royals, I think, are going to get the ball. The Royals jumped on the fumble. If they don't get the ball here, they at least are going to force them to be second and very long. And, boy, at the last second, they managed to get the ball back. In on the play, though, almost getting it was Andrew Bray. Almost retrieved that fumble. But, boy, let's look at the second and a ton here. A second and 27 due to putting that ball on the turf for the Broncos.
Well, you knew he was going to throw the ball, but you still have to hold on with two hands sometimes.
Johnson now, long pass, has a receiver streaking up the sideline, and he's caught. He got it to Green. Green showing good hands, as you said. If they use Green as a wide receiver, that was one of the better catches of the evening. 1st and 10 for the Broncos at the 11-yard line.
Surprised they didn't use that play all second half.
Well, like you said,
Instead of
he's
running him up the middle.
an
get him
inviting
outside,
target.
Throw the ball.
And Green obviously showing some skills catching the ball. Green will go as the single back in the backfield. 4 wideouts for the Broncos. Back to pass. Has time that, boy, that time ended in a hurry as more than one white jersey converged on the quarterback at the same time, including Bradley Murphy, putting Matt Johnson to the turf. And that sack will put them back to the 20-yard line. 2nd down now and about 19.
And it takes off about 20-some seconds off the clock.
They can get a 1st down without scoring, but it would be pretty close. So kind of consider this almost a 2nd and goal all the way back to the 20. Rolls to his left and will be sacked again as once again defensive pressure being applied. That was Nathan Fogley, who will get a sack to his credit. Will bring up now a 3rd down all the way back to the 25-yard line. So 3rd and 24 to go here. And the Broncos, after an impressive pass to Green, who got the ball down to the 11-yard line, now seem to be going in the wrong direction, Ken.
Well, they're daring him to run, and they're just pinning their ears back and going after the quarterback, figuring it's going to be a pass.
3:54,
Finally,
delayed
they get to
handoff to
Green this
Green.
time.
Green eludes a couple of tackles, and Green, with a very good run, gets the ball back to about the 11-yard line. So Green there showing some impressive running skills. And it will be 4th and long, but Green managed to cut into that deficit. And that was not an easy carry, Ken, in light of the fact that they've been keying on Green and they've been keying on Matt Johnson.
This play of the game for the Broncos, 4th down.
Well, and the Broncos, unfortunately, not only are they going to go for it here on 4th down, but they've taken quite a bit of time conferring with the sideline, so that's not helping them as the clock ticks to under 3 minutes and 10 seconds. He'll go to empty backfield. Will Matt Johnson, 4th and 11. And back to pass, tucks the ball. Now he's going to run, and he will not make it to the end zone. Is upended inside the 10-yard line, and that will be the end of that. And Johnson goes down, and turnover on downs, and the Royals will take over.
I think the phone's ringing. Yeah, it is. Dandy Don saying turn off the porch lights.
Did he say to go ahead and shut the lights down?
Yeah.
Save a little bit on the IPL bill?
That's right. Porch lights are being turned off.
They will spot the ball on the Royals' 9-yard line, where the Royals will get the ball 1st and 10. So the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, 2:55 on the clock, and certainly with the running prowess and the big offensive line that they have, 1st down here would certainly be the end of the game.
How many timeouts for the Broncos? 3? Yes, they'll use them.
3 timeouts for the Broncos. We'll see if they will use those timeouts.
This may be like an NBA game if they start using those timeouts.
Janney indicating that they are a player shy now. As we've talked about this too, when you start to platoon in some fresh players, they're going to have to. They were shy in offensive guard. They're going to have to burn a timeout here. As unfortunately,
that's their last one.
As they were shifting some formations, late entering the game was the right guard for the Royals.
Well, that's the coach's fault, not him, unless he was supposed to be out there. I suspect that they were putting in a sub.
Well, if that was a coaching mistake, it was certainly one of the rare coaching mistakes
The
of
only
the
one
evening.
tonight, maybe.
Possibly, as we've admired Scott May through the years. In fact, Ken, I will have to tell you that one of my personal favorites about doing play-by-play is the fact that, I used to ask Scott May for lineups and different things, and he kidded around with me in a couple of emails, and I thought, that's the coach, because we've always talked about, I think you and I have always been admirers of the great coaches, and I would put Scott May certainly up there in the list of great coaches
here in the state. He
Absolutely.
Really is. And think about that, those kickoffs to Green, he pooched them. Once
Yeah.
Green burned him, he said,
He
not
knew what
gonna
to
happen
do,
again.
yeah.
That is
Fool me
great.
once, fool me twice, I start pooching.
Right.
Janney with the I formation behind him. And the handoff is to the Royals' tailback. And let's get a number as he steps up, as they're starting to platoon in now, some of the second and third string players. That might have been Hardy on the carry. Hardy is in the game, so they haven't platooned in a second string batch of running backs here.
Is that Hardy?
Unless they handed it off to Ryan Ford, who's a backup, and Ford leaves right now.
Okay.
So it's a little tough to tell here, but I believe it is Hunter Hardy lines up in the I formation. 2:16, the clock is ticking. Second down and about 6 here for the Royals. Handoff, belly play, up the middle, gets stacked up. Picked up maybe a yard or maybe no gain there.
Yeah, they don't want yardage. They want 20 seconds off the clock.
That was Matteo on the carry. And as we heard from some of the coaching staff, Ken, they said, watch out. The Royals are not only deep at the running back position, but there are some great runners coming up from the JV and freshman ranks to keep your eyes open for if you're a Royals fan.
We heard about one young man who's just being very prolific as a freshman.
I formation, they hand off, first down, and then some.
Boy, that's it.
That was another outstanding carry, once again, from Hunter Hardy, who seems to be somewhat Energizer Bunny-like, because as you said, Ken, here's a guy that you need to ice him down on the sideline just from all the running he's done.
He's not a speed demon, but boy, he is very strong.
Well, he's very effective, and
he hands out punishment when they try
really
to tackle
does.
him.
So they go into that tight formation. Is this going to be the victory formation for the Royals? I believe it is, as the clock now is at the minute and 11. They're going to take a knee here.
But he wants it down to 5 or 6 seconds before they snap it. It's down to 3.
Janney will take a knee, and clock continues to tick inside a minute here at the Broncos' home field. One of the finer facilities in central Indiana, Ken. We're always amazed whenever we come to Lafayette, Jeff. The press box, the word extraordinary doesn't really encompass what they do. The video production that they have here, the scoreboard, all very first-rate. We've talked about the fact that the Broncos are a well-disciplined, fast team. They just have had some trouble matching up, and they are going to realign this division. They've had a little trouble matching up with some of the suburban schools. They'll have to play Brownsburg next week. We know how tough Brownsburg is. Yeah. And they had a tough time tonight against this visiting Royals group. And the Royals, we know, are tough home and away, and the Royals prevail in this game against the Lafayette Jeff Broncos by a score of 42-22. So another extraordinary game from the Royals. Thank you so much for joining us here on AudioSportsOnline.com as both teams meet at the midfield stripe to enjoy some camaraderie and some good sportsmanship here at the end as both coaches and players bid each other farewell. And as we will you, for Ken Attila, I'm Jay Baker. Have a very pleasant good evening.